something that has fast become a staple in my kitchen is this pressed cottage cheese. And I'm telling you, this is fantastic. And you know what? There are so many reasons why it's fantastic. Number one, it's low in calories, 130 calories per 125 gram piece. It's also super high in protein, 27 grams of protein. Just because I want you guys to be able to eyeball how much 125 grams is, here on the scale, I have 125 grams. And you can see that it doesn't even look like a giant amount, but 125 grams, 27 grams of protein. Now, the other thing that I love about this cheese, which is gonna kind of sound a little bit weird, is that it doesn't have a whole lot of taste. But why is that fantastic? Well, it's fantastic because you can put it in everything, and no matter what you add onto it, it takes in the taste of that. So you're not getting the overwhelming taste of the cheese, you're getting that benefit of the protein, of the texture, of that nice thick richness, and it really fills you up. So whether you're on a low-fat diet, which this is extremely low in fat, or whether you're adding more fat to your diet, which I'm doing these days, I get to add my own kind of fat. So I can add nuts on top of things, I can add the olive oil, I can do all of these things with this kind of nondescript tasting cheese. Now apparently in the States this is called farmer's cheese, and it is still pressed cottage cheese, and that is with all of the moisture pressed out. The other amazing thing about this is you can bake it, you can just have it raw, you can fry it. It does not melt. So this is versatility personified right here. So what I want to do in today's video is I want to make 3 really, really easy recipes using this pressed cottage cheese, because it is, I'm telling you, in my breakfast, in my lunch, in my dinner, since I found this, I just can't get enough of it. So let's start off with a really great eggplant parmesan that's going to kind of knock your socks off, because you know, eggplant parmesan is a really great vegetarian dish, but there's not a lot of protein, and there's a whole lot of fat, and there's all those breadcrumbs, so I kind of do my own thing with it. But because of this cheese, we're going to get as much protein as if we had meat in there. I'm not going to add the breadcrumbs, and we're going to put it together, and you're going to see how easy it is. All right, you need to start with a couple of eggplants that you want to wash, and you want to cut them, and then you want to slice them thinly, or not too thin, but you want to slice them in, LOL, in slices. And what I've done is I sprayed a pan, a grill pan, actually a couple of grill pans. Once you've sliced your eggplant, lay them out on some paper towel and salt them, and then leave them for a good 15 to 20 minutes, and they'll start to sweat, and you'll see that. When that has happened, that softens it up, brings out some of the extra moisture, and then you can pat them dry, and then you can put them on your grill pans, or if you've got a barbecue, by all means, barbecue them, gives them a nice kind of grilled like flavor, and get those all ready. Then you can see here that I have my eggplant, and it's all ready to go. On top of that, I've made a really simple tomato sauce, and I just had a tin of San Marzano tomatoes. I sauteed up some onions and garlic, some olive oil, some salt, and I had some fresh basil, so I threw that in too. You can by all means use jarred tomato sauce, look that it's not tons of sugar, and use that as well. But this one was just super, super easy, so I have that to go into my eggplant. Gonna put a little bit of my tomato sauce on the bottom, and we're just gonna kind of do the lasagna thing, guys, like so simple. But what I love about this is we've really avoided all of that excess oil that gets absorbed in with the breadcrumbs. Then I'm going to add another layer of the tomato sauce, and then I'm going to add the magic pressed cottage cheese. Everybody in my family loves eggplant, and I particularly love eggplant too. And I really like this better than regular eggplant parmesan, as I said, because there's no protein in that, and we are all looking to get our protein. So we can just put this, just like many people use ricotta when they're making lasagna, or they also use that when they're making eggplant, all kinds of different pasta dishes. So you could just use this instead, but this is much higher in protein, much lower in fat. So we don't even have to feel bad about using the mozzarella with this and the Parmesan. And this is going to be just as good protein-wise, but much less in fat than if we used ground beef or ground turkey or any other meat. Put my next layer of eggplant on. I mean, this is like simple, simple, simple. One more layer of eggplant, just because I had a lot. Okay, now let's come in with some shredded mozzarella. I think in this one we probably used about 500 grams of our pressed cottage cheese. We can divide that out depending on how big the portion is to see how much protein that you're actually getting. And you can see that other than just this bit of mozzarella, it's really pretty low fat. Add some Parmesan on top. Just have to pop it in the oven. So I've got that in about a 375 oven. I think it's gonna be about 45 minutes. Really, you just have to eyeball it. Really, when it's brown and crisp and bubbling, you know it's ready. Okay, now I'm gonna make dessert. Can you imagine we're gonna make dessert with this pressed cottage cheese, and it's gonna be delicious. So I've got a piece of cottage cheese. This one is gonna make 2 of the desserts that I'm gonna make. And we need an egg, and we're gonna fry this baby. We're gonna make this kind of, all right, we're not gonna call it cheesecake, all right? But we're gonna call it fried cheese with fruit, protein dessert. And you're gonna love it. So I've got an egg, and I'm gonna use some breadcrumbs. This is not the time for Italian breadcrumbs. This is time for plain old breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna put that over here. And into that, I'm going to put, you know what, a good shake of cinnamon, because we want this to be a sweeter thing. This is not our savory side. And I'm gonna put also a tablespoon of this monk fruit sweetener, or you know what, if you love sugar, then put sugar in. So I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of sugar, of monk fruit sweetener. I'm gonna put that all together so that we have a little bit of a sweetness to our dessert. I'm gonna mix up the egg. I'm gonna dip my pieces of cheese in there. I'm gonna roll it into my breadcrumbs, and then I'm gonna fry it. All right, I got my chunk, and I'm gonna dip it in my egg. I just eyeballed these. I made these about 85, this is about 85 grams. So my wonderful editor is gonna figure out how much protein and calories that is. And then I'm gonna dip it into my breadcrumbs. I have a really low tasting oil, so maybe not the time for your olive oil. I'm using avocado oil. The name of the game for this is you just want it brown. You want it golden brown. You want it to just look delicious. And then while this is getting ready, I'm just gonna get some fruit together, because we're gonna just add some nice fresh fruit with this, maybe a little bit of frozen fruit even, just because you want that kind of saucy component. And this just sits on it, cuts in half, and hey, you know what? That's a really great dessert treat, even kind of guest worthy. If you want to have people over and you're trying to stay within your diet, why not go for something like this? All right, do you know what? That really is dessert worthy right here. You've got a little bit of the cheese with the nice little bit of the crunch. So the cheese has softened inside. It's not all melty and gooey, but it is softened, and it's nice and warm inside. We've added some fruit. That cinnamon, the little bit of sweetness. I'm telling you, you guys have to try this. Ultra low cal, really high in protein, great dessert. You know what? You're gonna come back to this again and again and again. Now we're going on to an appetizer. Ever been to a party or you're having people over, but you really don't want to go overboard, but you want to partake, you want to have a cocktail, you want to have some appies? Well, how about Greek saganaki? Because that is always a hit. You can have some pita crisps on the side. You can dig into that cheese. Well, we're gonna make it with our pressed cottage cheese. We're gonna dredge it in a little bit of flour. I'm gonna add, because this is not like maybe how really Greek people make it, so you know, cut me some slack. But I'm gonna add some oregano into my flour. and I'm going to dredge it, and then I'm going to fry it in olive oil. We might even try to flambe it. I've never done that part before, but this is just for you. So I hope my hair is going to still be attached at the end, but let's give it a whirl. So we want a good sized piece, but not too thick. So I'm going to cut this in half this way. Voila. Okay. Ta-da. And then I'm going to dredge that in my flour. And I'm going to shake off the excess because I don't want it like really floury. In the meantime, what I've done is I've used my keto wraps that I absolutely love, and I've cut them into triangles, and I've sprayed them with a bit of oil, and I put a little bit of garlic and spicy mix on it, and we're going to use that as our crackers, along with I have some other boxed crackers if you want to go for that, but if you're watching your carbs, then you might want to use those keto wraps. I also think that's another fantastic thing that has come in so handy in my kitchen. Oh yeah. Okay, how is that for some bubbly, delicious goodness? Woo! Whoa. Okay, saganaki, here we come. One word of warning, do not put the ouzo on if you've already had some ouzo. You really need to have your wits about you on that. So maybe kids don't try that one at home. But we've got our crackers, we've got our saganaki, we've got it nicely in the ouzo, we've got the olive oil, I've got some nice oregano, I've added a little bit of fresh thyme. Never mind that I even kind of muffed it when I turned it over. It still looks amazing. Just has that hint of ouzo. Even if you don't flambe the ouzo, you don't even need to add the ouzo, but you know what, if you have it and you like it, do add it because it really has that nice, just that hint of licorice flavor. And you know, this is fantastic. What can I tell you? We haven't dug into our eggplant yet, but you know, we got 3 real winners here, and I hope you guys are going to give them a try. All right, dinner is served. So very lasagna-like, but we do have our protein. I just want to see if we can see, so you can see if you look up close, how that cheese just stays in there. It's still firm, but nice and warm. Not like it's like not a nice texture, but it stays firm, doesn't just melt like the mozzarella. And really, that's instead of meat, so it's perfect. I've just made a simple salad, and away we go. I really hope that you enjoyed this video and have seen the versatility of this cheese. It's really fantastic. I hope that you embrace it and you try it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, appetizers, dessert. And it's kind of crazy because the cheese that doesn't taste like much is fast becoming my favorite. Figure that out. Thanks so much for watching, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next one.